Today we're going to be interviewing Patrick Golden, a former successful JSE stockbroker who was allured by the life of fast money in the underworld. He turned to the life of crime and drugs, and within no time his life completely spiraled out of control. Once he'd hit rock bottom, he made a turnaround and eventually opened his own restoration center in his community. Hey Patrick, how are you doing?
How's it, man?
So good to see you,
Nice
man.
seeing you again, buddy.
Thanks for
Nice seeing you
joining
again.
us. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure, man.
Please,
Pleasure.
Patrick, tell us more about yourself.
Marcus, I'm Patrick Golden. I am 44 years old this year. I grew up, this is where I grew up. This is Aralo Park Extension 9. Like any other kid, you know, in primary school, I had dreams, I had aspirations. I did well in athletics. High jumping was my thing, short put, because of my length and the strength, you know. Eldest of 3 siblings. My one brother's late, the one in the middle, he's passed on a couple of years ago. I have 2 sons. I have a baby daughter on the way now.
Congratulations.
Totally blessed. And yeah, this is where I grew up. Obviously now it's different. It didn't look like this, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously with time a lot of things have changed and that. But this was the dusty streets that I used to play in.
Wow.
We moved to Aralo Park, to the specific house I'll take you to now, when I was like 6 years old. You know, so yeah, this is where I grew up. Schooling, obviously local schooling, yeah. High school, 2 years of local high school. And then in 93, I think it was, my parents moved me to a private school.
Okay.
Family background, so my dad, very rigid man, you know, very firm in his ways. He was in construction, he was into construction. My mom wasn't working. She tried to hustle and do some things, you know. The school, I used to get embarrassed and my mom comes with a trolley, Checkers trolleys, with popcorn and omatana and these chili things and chupas in it. And she's selling it at the school. You know, back then I'm a child, I'm in primary school and I'm embarrassed, like, oh, can my mother be doing this? But that's how my parents went beyond to make sure that we have what we need. You know, not what we want, because I've never had a bicycle in my life. You know, the simplest things that kids take for granted now. But they made sure we get what we need, you know. Obviously later on my mum got employed at game store, so things kind of just balanced out a little bit, you know. So and yeah, that's it. But let me take you to the house that I grew up in.
Oh, I'd love that.
So standard 8, I move out of Eldos, I go to this private school in town. Everything is awesome, 2 years of private school. So boy coming from Eldos, colored area, and I'm at this private school where we have different races, different cultures, different belief systems. We have kids from embassies where the ambassadors' kids go to these schools. So I'm exposed to a lot of things. And on excursion, we get asked, what do you want to do? My English teacher's husband is a chief trader for one of the firms, stockbroking firms. And I ask her, can I go and see what he does? And she says, cool. So I get there, another world. So I see this world where, this world that I see on TV, I see Wall Street. And I'm intrigued, I love it. But that industry, remember, it is more of, it's a burnout industry, you know. So we've had guys that have got no formal education that became top traders. You know, it is just how much you can take. But that's in the broking field. That's where I got introduced to drugs first. Because of the hectic lifestyle we have. During the day we're trading and at night we're entertaining. So we're forever taking clients out and that. I did that for 4 years. And in 1998, there was a market crash. So here I'm sitting with a lump sum of money. I've bought myself a townhouse in an affluent suburb. And now I'm out of a job. Obviously, you're going to run out of money. True. I need to pay a bond. And I've always had my friends from Eldorado Park. You know, sometimes people always use the story that I got introduced to the wrong crowd. No. They're still my friends.
Yeah.
I don't like the wrong crowd story or the bad friends because they're good friends. They do bad things.
That's true.
You know, we have choices. I chose to do what I did. I chose to go into hijacking. I chose to go into house robberies. I chose to do what I did. You know? Yes, my choices were not the best choices in life, but I don't believe in blaming someone else for the choices you make. Yes, now you sit here and you have lots of regrets because my brother got killed hijacking right outside this house, you know. But I continued. The same year my brother died, the same year, 2003, my brother got shot. September 9, 2003. I got arrested for my first, well, not my first hijacking, but my first arrest hijacking. I ended up in Sun City. March 2014, my dad has a heart attack. My mum is suffering from motor neuron disease. She's got motor neuron disease. So everything just starts slowly shutting down. With my dad's death, I think my mum's health just deteriorated. And remember, I've got court case after court case, shooting after shooting. People coming to the house, threatening after threats. And I think with all that happening, her life just took her health just took a knock for the worst. 1st of August 2014, my mum passes. And that's when everything just came. I just lost it.
Sure.
I just completely lost it because I was this provider. You know, I used to make things happen for them.
Yeah.
And now I don't have them in my life. I don't have that. And my life just went. The same drugs that I was selling, I started using. But I'm talking about in a space of 6 months.
Oh, man.
I lost everything.
Yes.
Everything. I had a friend that would check up on me, and the one day he came and he said to me, "Dude, I need to speak to you. Have you seen yourself? Can you see what this house looks like?" The same house we used to party and do drugs in. The neighbors would come and want to evict us from the house. So Mikey says to me, "Dude, you have a choice. I will come and take over this house and send you away by force, or I will help you get help." So I'm like, okay, cool, let's do this. But remember, I'm doing this just to get clean and sober so I can go back to my life of crime. So I'm saying, you know what, I need 3 months. He says, "Good, you got 3 months. Get into rehab." The second month in rehab, I have an encounter that I can't explain, where I have this spiritual, it is spiritual because it bars God, where I just go into a place while praying. I just went into the state of being where it was peaceful, a peace I've never experienced ever afterwards. And that's when I decided that this needs to change. I need to change my life. I need to change my life. That's when I gave over to God and said to God, "You know what, you need to take over and you need to direct this life and tell me what it is I need to do."
This is very interesting, Patrick. So Patrick, please tell us more about the Tag Restoration Center.
Let's first do, I'll show you the difference in what we do and why it's different. You find recovery, people call it rehab. I stay away from that name or from that aspect of things, because I can't rehabilitate. I don't rehabilitate. I wasn't rehabilitated, I was restored. My life was restored. Yes, people go to rehabs where they have their doctors and they go on medication and they go on a whole lot of things, you know. With us, we do things differently because it is not just restoring your life, but it's restoring your life and helping you make a life for your life. That's why we have such a long program. So we have our psychiatrist, we have our life coach. Our focus, one of our main pillars, is what does one do after the center. That's why we thrive and on skills development. We go out to get internships and get study opportunities for guys. Because what happens is, from the streets, doing drugs, off into a restoration center, done with restoration, go back home again, what happens? You go back to what you know. So here we try and grow the guys. We have quite a rigid program because you can't do it without God. That's primary. That's the foundation of our center. We draw closer to God. We help the guys restore themselves, obviously by uplifting their spiritual life. We have a few companies that we've partnered with, a few businesses in the areas in Annandale that we've partnered with, that open up opportunities for the guys once they complete their program. So our main focus is obviously to restore and obviously help you make something more of your life, depending on what it is you're passionate about. So you will see, you've seen the creed.
Yeah.
So we have this creed that I built up the creed, and every portion of the creed speaks about what you're going through, how you would help, and how do you help someone else going through what they're going through. So that's a promise we make, that because I've been helped through God, I will go out and help someone else restore their lives. And that's what the creed basically states, that you will make it an effort in helping someone else get through what you've gone through.
That's just amazing, Patrick. So lastly, please, can you give any word to young people who might be going through this very same addiction issues as you did at their age?
Do you know, Marcus, the thing is just sometimes when you go through it, you feel like you're in this hole and there's no way out of it. There is hope. It's easy for me to say it because I've gone through it. But if you look at my life and what I've gone through and the things that I've done, if God can do it for me, who's the next person? He can surely do it for someone else, So, and to the parents, especially to parents, we tend to give up and just feel like this person doesn't want to change, this person doesn't want to do it. We need to take into account addiction and delinquency. There's a whole lot of other aspects also that come into play. You find abuse, you find neglect, you find depression. So addiction is not just paint everyone with the same brush. You find dual diagnosis. There's a whole lot of things. In South Africa, I think we're just scraping on the tip of the iceberg when it comes to addiction. There's just so much more studies and so much more that we need to do to get to a solution to drugs. Obviously, we will not find a solution as to eradicate drugs completely, but we need to find methods of how to deal with these people or with us that suffer from addiction, because sobriety is a lifelong process. It's not like a pill that you take and you'll never do drugs again. I can do drugs in 20 years from now, But sustaining your sobriety, that's where we need intervention, that's where we need skills development, that's where we need more recreational things for us to do as a community to keep the guys off the streets and keep the kids doing the right things in life.
So now, what kind of assistance is the center receiving from private and public sector?
Very difficult. We do obviously have a few partners, but we'd like to see more people buying into restoration, because what happens, sometimes you need for something to happen to you for you to reach out and try and help. It needs to be my son or the neighbor's son. I need to see it and experience it for me to actually make an effort and say, let me try and help you. So yes, we reach out to companies, we reach out to schools to help and create opportunities that we can help and upskill these guys for them to do something after the restoration period.
It's just amazing, Patrick. Thank you.
It's a lot of work, but it can be done.
Patrick, brother, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Marcus.
Life throws at us different challenges, and it's what we choose to do in this time of adversity that determines our character. Choose to make a difference in the life of others and in your life. Choose to be an everyday hero. Now, if you'd like to support the TAG Restoration Center, please visit www.tagrestorationcenter.co.za. Until next week, bye-bye.